This is the tragic and heroic story of Duke Thomas, a young man who began as Batman's final protege and became the last hope against an unstoppable wave of destruction, the Death Wave. Duke Thomas was once a bright light in Gotham City, training under Batman to become a protector of justice. As a promising young hero, he was filled with hope and determination, eager to follow in the footsteps of his legendary mentor. But Duke's journey took a dark turn when Barbados, the dark dragon of the multiverse, used Batman as his vessel. The transformation turned Bruce Wayne into a monstrous being and corrupted the Justice League, transforming them into dragons of destruction. The once mighty protectors of Earth had become harbingers of doom. As Gotham and the world around him crumbled, Duke watched in horror, realizing that there was no saving his Earth. The chaos was overwhelming and the betrayal of his mentor cut deep. Yet he refused to give up. With his world beyond salvation, Duke fled into the multiverse, vowing to stop Barbados's death wave from consuming every other Earth. For 2 long years, Duke traveled across the multiverse, leaping from world to world. Each new Earth brought fresh challenges and heartbreak. He did everything in his power to warn other Earths and stop the wave, rallying their heroes to fight back. But each time he failed. One by one, the 51 worlds fell to Barbados's apocalyptic force, leaving destruction in their wake. Along the way, Duke discovered a unique ability, the power to see visions of the past. This ability gave him insights into the histories of the worlds he visited, but it was not enough to turn the tide. Armed with this newfound skill and a stolen suit of armor that allowed him to traverse dimensions, he continued his fight, even as hope dwindled. The weight of failure bore heavily on Duke's shoulders. He had witnessed countless lives lost, civilizations destroyed, and dreams shattered. Yet he pressed on, driven by the belief that his fight was not in vain. Finally, the death wave claimed the 51st world, leaving Duke with nowhere to run. Desperate and alone, he returned to his home, Earth Metal, where it all began. Back on Earth Metal, Duke faced a nightmare. His former mentor, Batman, now a monstrous entity called the Dragon of the End, ruled alongside his terrifying allies. The once familiar streets of Gotham were now a twisted hellscape, dominated by the grotesque forms of the corrupted Justice League. Duke tried to fight them but was quickly overpowered. Just when all seemed lost, Nightwing, his old friend, rescued him and brought him to the Justice League Watchtower. Inside the Watchtower, Duke found the last remnants of Earth's heroes, Hawkgirl, the Flash, and others who had survived the chaos. The atmosphere was heavy with despair, and the heroes were shadows of their former selves. Despite the looming inevitability of the death wave, Duke inspired these broken heroes to band together one final time. He reminded them of the values they once stood for and the people who still needed their protection. They formed a new Justice League, ready to make their last stand against Barbados and his Dragons of the Bat. The Justice League's plan was audacious. They freed a dragon controlled by the Batman who laughs, turning it against the enemy. This act of defiance sparked a glimmer of hope, but the battle that followed was apocalyptic. The skies burned, the earth trembled, and the air was filled with the roar of dragons and the cries of heroes. One by one, Duke's allies gave their lives to hold back the monstrous army. Each sacrifice brought them closer to victory, but in the end, Duke stood alone against the Dragon of the End, his former teacher. The battle was brutal. The dragon's power was overwhelming, and Duke was pushed to his limits. Every strike from the dragon felt like a mountain crashing down, yet Duke refused to yield. Using his teleportation armor, he managed to infiltrate the creature's massive body. Inside, he found Batman's original form, still tethered to the monstrous shell. The sight was heartbreaking. The man who had once been a symbol of justice now reduced to a puppet of darkness. With one decisive act, Duke severed the tethers, killing the Dragon of the End and ending Batman's torment. But the victory was hollow. The death wave continued to consume everything around him, unstoppable in its advance. Duke stood as the last survivor of Earth Metal, the sole witness to the multiverse's collapse. The silence that followed was deafening, a stark reminder of all that had been lost. In the final moments of existence, Duke crafted a new armor from the dragon's skin, a grim testament to his victory. He took Nightwing's weapon, the Parallax, a symbol of their shared struggle and sacrifice. Adopting the name the Final Night, he prepared for one last act of defiance. Using his teleportation belt, he escaped into the dark multiverse, a realm of twisted realities and endless horrors. In this twisted dimension, Duke encountered Tempus Fuginaut, an enigmatic observer of the multiverse. The being's calm demeanor in the face of such devastation enraged Duke. He could not comprehend how someone could watch passively as countless worlds perished. Fueled by anger and grief, Duke struck him down, leaving the observer unconscious. Then, as the final night, Duke set out once more, vowing to fight for every broken, twisted world in the dark multiverse, even if he had to do it alone. This is the story of Duke Thomas, the Final Knight. A hero forged in tragedy, who refused to surrender, even as the multiverse crumbled around him. If you enjoyed this epic showdown, don't forget to like, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.